After a Draymond Green birthday party, the Warriors traveled across town and immediately fell into a 20-point hole in the first quarter. It was Jimmy Butler who dominated the non-Steph Curry minutes, while the Warriors' second star brought them back into the game. Jimmy finished with a game-high plus 17, and I want to break down how methodical he is at exploiting mismatches and finding his teammates, so let's get to it. Let's start off with a couple defensive highlights. Even at age 35, Jimmy Butler remains an elite defender. He's had multiple all-defense selections, and here's why. The Nets run a weak side action and the Dubs play straight up. However, Butler knows that the primary scoring option is Cam Johnson, and he sees that Steph is in the paint and playing the potential backdoor cut, so he positions himself behind Johnson, ready to chase through these two down screens. When Cam tries to curl around the second pick, Jimmy's right on his tail and reaches over to steal a lazy pass from D'Lo. This is elite defense. Defense is about positioning, effort, and timing. It obviously helps if you have the physical attributes, but look at Butler's awareness on this possession. Claxton comes with a high pick, but Thomas rejects the screen and blows by Moody. This forces the Warriors to help from the weak side. Curry first rotates as the weak side low man, allowing Butler to sink down and X out if needed. Steph does a great job jumping straight up, forcing Thomas to try a difficult Euro step through traffic and loses balance. He may have gotten fouled here, but this desperate attempt at a pass is where Butler is in perfect position to pick it off for another steal. Now let's get to the offensive actions. Curry comes for the inverted pick and roll and the net switch. Butler is not the fastest or tallest guy obviously, but he puts in so many hours at the gym to become extremely strong. His ability to get by defenders at will is due to his physicality. Here he gets by on the baseline without any dribbling moves, forcing the Nets big man to help. When Jimmy's in the paint, he commands double teams, but I would say 80% of the time he is not going out for the shot, but is super methodical at breaking down the defense and looking for his own teammates. He sees that Zaire Williams is ball watching, and his man in GB2 slipped in the paint, so Butler finds him for an open teardrop. This is smart basketball and the definition of not forcing up shots. After a defensive stop where Quentin Post forces Thomas to shoot a contested midi, the Warriors run in transition. I love how Butler often sees the open court and sprints down these breaks, knowing he has an advantage on the slower big man. Spencer dumps it off to Butler, forcing Thomas to make a good rotation from the weak side, but Butler's just too big and finishes the tough layup. Down 20, I love these out-of-bounds plays where the Warriors got Jimmy a mismatch at least 4 or 5 times where they got a bucket or foul. Moses tries to first come for the back screen, but you can see Jimmy shout at him to go up towards the ball. The reason is because Butler smells a huge mismatch with the small D'Angelo Russell, so he tells Moody to clear the baseline, where he ducks in and gets great positioning behind D'Lo. Not sure why he wants to front him, but Butler's so skilled at using his hands and strength to push off smaller defenders, and Draymond knew exactly what to do by throwing this pass over. Incredible basketball IQ, and we get an and one. The non-Steph Curry minutes have historically been awful for Golden State, but no longer with the addition of Jimmy Butler. Again, Jimmy's incredible basketball IQ is at display, taking another mismatch on the baseline and getting into the paint at will. Williams comes to rotate as the weak side low man, and we just know Butler's not looking for his own shot, and just wants Brooklyn to get into rotations. With Pat Spencer smartly cutting, this forces Russell, who had the 2 weak side Warriors, to sink down low. Moses drifts to the corner, and Jimmy finds him for a practice 3. Great offense and timeout nets. These out-of-bounds plays for Jimmy are just clinical. Dre's got the ball in the left wing and Butler comes for the back screen. Brooklyn decided to switch, but look at Jimmy using his hands to force the switch defender on the high side. When Spencer clears out, this opens up the entire baseline of the defense for another Draymond Green lob pass. Now Butler's got too deep of a position, and these are the opportunities that he will go up and finish a layup over a double team. With the shot clock winding down, I want you guys to see how Jimmy has picked up Russell, and he knows his contested mid-range shot will most likely end up in the defensive rebound. So he takes his chance to sprint down the other side of the court to get a mismatch and good position. With Steph picking up the ball, look at who is not even in the picture, already behind D'Angelo Russell. Defense is all about effort, and we know D'Lo is a cone. Butler is by himself for the touchdown. Let's see how Jimmy counters the Nets coverage on that same out-of-bounds play. He tries to set a back screen for Curry, but Brooklyn fully miscommunicates as Cam Johnson calls for the switch while Keon Johnson sticks to Steph. Butler seizes and with Guy Santos cutting, smartly fades to the weak side corner. Now, the only problem I have with Jimmy so far is his ugly 3-point shooting percentage, but even he will make a practice 3 with this much daylight. Great counter. The Nets are tanking for a reason, they just aren't on the same page defensively. Inverted pick and roll, and you just assume Johnson called for the switch, but for some reason he decided to leave the ball and run back to Steph. I guess they were calling for a hedge maybe, but running away from the ball due to Steph's gravity is crazy to me, and now Dre has a 4-on-3 advantage. He makes these plays in his sleep, and with D'Lo rotating as the weak side low man, Johnson is responsible for the 2 weak side Warriors. We know Draymond Green is not going to shoot this, and Butler gets an alley-oop layup. I actually love how Steve Kerr runs Jimmy-centric lineups and plays when Curry's sitting on the bench. Now we have an on-ball pick with Looney and Williams fighting over and Sharp in a drop coverage. Look at all the attention that Jimmy demands, but he's able to dribble and control the entire pace, waiting for the defense to collapse. I personally believe the Nets overhelped here because there's no really reason to have an extra defender on the roll man Looney because he's not a threat, but Butler keeps his dribble alive and loves to go on the baseline, giving his teammates an opportunity to catch the defense by surprise and cut to the paint. Great timing here and cut by Santos for the assist by Jimmy. Butler shot and made 10 free throws. We love having our own free throw merchant. This also gives Steph valuable time to rest without the time running. Let's run that same out of bounds play again. Dre's got the ball and looking to make a play. Remember earlier when Jimmy told Moses to get out of screening? This is brilliant basketball decision making, by the way. Now he sees D'Lo and Moody, so Jimmy wants that back screen and uses it. Brooklyn switches it, and Butler smells blood with his favorite mismatch in Warriors legend D'Angelo Russell. Easily just uses his body and hands to get prime position in the paint and holds the defender like a child. Lob pass by Dre to Jimmy, and Butler uses the arm hook to get a continuation layup. We know Steph had the 40-piece, so we'll break down one defensive collapse that starts from an on-ball post screen. If the entire team is not on the same page, the Warriors' motion offense will kill them. You can see right off the bat the Nets already fail on the switch, and the second Claxton realizes he's already out of position. When Steph sets the back pick, Johnson also calls for the switch, and Claxton is put in a spin cycle as to where he's got to go. Butler's got the ball in the short corner looking to make a play. It is on the Warriors' role players to know when and where to set off-ball screens for Steph, and this is why I love GP2 so much. Payne knows exactly where to find Steph's defender, but also slips the screen just in time so Williams cannot switch. Steph comes on the curl to find daylight on this catch-and-shoot 3. One more defensive stop, but I want you guys to look how Jimmy moves and where his positioning is the entire time. The Nets set a screen to try and get a mismatch, and Curry switches. Thomas is a bucket getter, so he gets by Steph, forcing the Warriors to help. Guy Santos does a great job leaving his man to double and forcing the smaller Thomas to the baseline. Jimmy Butler is lurking, but he is constantly looking at the ball and his man, but smells out this pass to Claxton and is able to time this reach perfectly from behind. All defense for a reason. There you guys have it. The Jimmy Butler era has been a dream come true for Warriors fans. Golden State finished the road trip 4-1, with the only loss coming in a game where Butler did not play. The 1B superstar dropped a season-high 25 points as a Warrior, helping the Dubs back from a 22-point deficit in the first quarter by methodically breaking down the defense. Butler showed elite ability to get to the paint at will, make plays for teammates, sniff out mismatches for high-quality looks at the rim, and control the pace and possessions when Steph Curry sits. His skill at getting to the free throw line also gives Steph extra minutes to rest, while putting the team in the bonus earlier. On the other end, Butler's all-defense resume was on full display with 3 steals, all thanks to great timing and positioning. Honestly, I don't think any of us expected the Warriors to be winning like this, with the only losses in the Butler era coming from a rigged ref game and the one Jimmy missed with injury. This is night and day transformation for the Warriors, capping off a road trip on a high note with a 40-piece from Steph Curry. Now it's back to the Bay against a tough Detroit team, so if you guys like this breakdown, like and subscribe to see more.